and welcome to New Game Plus. I'm Tim. I'm joined by Donald. How are you?
I'm feeling kind of bittersweet actually, because as we're recording this, we have just found out about the unfortunate passing of Nintendo CEO Satoru Iwata.
Yeah, it's really sad to see such a figurehead of the company pass.
And so young as
yeah,
well.
At 55 is fairly young. It is definitely shocking and very sad that this has happened.
But he's left a massive, lasting legacy on the gaming industry. Like, what's your favorite moment from Iwata's legacy?
I've got to say the Nintendo Direct conferences because he just brought so much character to what is usually a fairly standard, predictable, and sometimes boring press conference.
Yeah.
He brought so much character to that.
He brought so much charm, didn't he?
Yeah, he certainly did, and especially the latest one with all the Muppets.
Yeah.
Just absolutely fantastic, and he'll be sorely missed. But what about you?
I know, I'd have to say it's one of the consoles that he released under his purview. So it'd be the Nintendo Wii, actually, because it was, for me, the first console that I purchased with my own cash money, brand new. It was also, I remember, like, the Christmas that it came out. I just brought it over to the families for Christmas Day, expecting just to get a little bit of play before the karaoke comes out. But no, the karaoke machine wasn't put out, thankfully. Instead, the family just stayed up until, like, 3, 4 a.m., just playing through Wii Tennis, Wii Bowling, Wii Boxing. It's like, ordinarily, the family doesn't really care about video games, but here they are.
Yeah, certainly bringing in the Wii really introduced people that wouldn't necessarily be gaming into the fun and joy that is gaming. And the Nintendo Wii was certainly something that represented that very well.
And we'll have a retrospective on his life and legacy later on in this episode, but we also have other games, don't we, Tim?
Yes, we're looking at Android Assault Cactus later on.
Android the Assault Cactus.
Yes, assaulting Android cactuses. Later on in the show, great Australian developed game. We get to check out that later in the episode, but we're also checking out AntMan, the movie.
Starring Paul Rudd,
yes.
new latest in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yes.
How does it turn out? You'll find out.
But first up, let's go into our first review.
Do you like anime idols?
Maybe, depending.
Do you like endless dungeon crawling?
Little bits here and there.
Do you like convoluted battle systems?
Yes, I do.
And do you like dance videos?
Depending.
Depending. Well, if you mush them all together, would that appeal?
Maybe. Is that the right answer?
Probably not.
Wow.
So, Amiga Quintet, it's essentially the common JRPG trope of, a whole bunch of little girls running around in a dungeon, smashing each other with giant weapons.
Yep.
There's 10,000 stats, you're never quite sure what you're doing, and there's about 150,000 side quests before you even get to name your character.
It's true. But before that, the thing that they mostly focused on, which is mostly all of the game, the video maker. Because that's literally half the game, and half all the resources that actually this game was made on went to, because the rest of the game is not as good as that.
Yeah, like you can literally make dance videos, you can choreograph, you can zoom in, you got panty shots, it's amazing.
Yep.
But then there's a game, and that's less amusing.
Like the game itself, it's basic RPG, takes elements from everything. Like Final Fantasy X, Final Fantasy 13, Italia.
Yeah, every Gust game ever.
Every Gust game ever. Tries to meld them all into one little thing, then doesn't really teach you very well.
And it plods, and there's hours of text. And
text.
But
But
there are anime idols, and there is a video mode, so...
panty shots.
Now, my latest iReview is one that I'm a little late to the party with, and laugh it up, but I'm here reviewing Monument Valley, which came out, it'd have to be nearly a year ago, and I thought, I missed the original bit of hype, and I thought, well, I'll give it a go. Everyone was talking up and saying how it was a great little experience, and blah, blah, blah. But no, it's a really good little experience. You play like a little girl traversing all of these different puzzles, and it's a three-dimensional puzzle system. So basically, you have dials and switches that move blocks and various other ways of swiping and changing the way things sit. but it works in 3 dimensions. So you may have something going this way, and then like in the 3rd dimension it coming that way, and when you do the switch, it switches it so it touches that one, and this one's blocked off. It's, you know, that little kind of like MC Escher meets indie gaming, and to be fair, it's fantastic. Some of them, I mean, a lot of them aren't exactly, you know, brain teasers. You're not going to be sitting there for hours, you know, trying to figure out what's going on. But the graphics are nice, the audio is great, and it's I don't know, it's nice to have a puzzle game that's not, you know, the usual kind of score chaser, kind of you know, Tetris-y kind of thing. And I don't know, it's really going to come down to what you want out of the game. If you want one of those, this is perhaps not your game. It's very much an experience. You know, it goes on about, you know, the girls travels through the whole thing, blah, 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 blah. But if you want something that's a unique indie game, and even 12 months on is still worth a play, Monument Valley.
You don't seem surprised to see me.
I'm not.
This isn't a social call, Rucker. I'm here to take you in.
My people and I will resist you.
Innocent people died in that bombing today.
The augmented are suffering a genocide. It begins with demonizing us, treating us as less than human, exiling us so we are forgotten, and then exterminating us.
Getting pissed enough to end this guy yet?
I got a no-kill order.
Would have thought he'd done enough to warrant extreme prejudice.
How dare you speak to me of peace and fairness on behalf of masters who hide in the shadows and murdering without the courage to proclaim their convictions in front of the rest of the world? I suspect there's a power struggle brewing within our organization. Some people inside ARC are less committed to our ideals.
Then help me find them.
Somewhere down there, hiding in plain sight, is your real terrorist.
I can only fight enemies I see.
Then isn't it time you brought them into the light?
On the 11th of July, the gaming industry was saddened to hear about the unfortunate and tragic passing of Nintendo CEO Satoru Iwata.
And as you'd expect, there's a huge social media outcry, a lot of people pouring their hearts out, offering their condolences to Nintendo, even people like, critics, publications, gamers alike, even people from the industry, so Sony and Microsoft, offering their condolences to one of their major competitors.
It just goes to show the amount of influence and respect that everyone had for Iwata. So let's just go over his history with Nintendo and the legacy that he's left on the industry. Let's begin with his time at HAL Laboratories, which he started with in 1984.
1984, such a huge, long time ago as well. So he's had a huge hand in programming games like Balloon Fight, huge hand in Kirby, and especially Earthbound, known as Mother 2 in Japan, where he went in as an advisor, started off a clean slate, rebuilt the game from the ground up, and it is what it is today. He had such an influence.
And we're hearing a lot of these stories as well of the hand that Iwata had in various games that in mid-90s. He formed the prototype that went on to be Super Smash Bros. He effectively saved Pokemon Stadium for the Nintendo 64 by figuring out the battle logic from that game and backwards coding it onto the 64 version. He managed to compress Pokemon Gold so much so that he was able to fit the entire Kanto region from red and blue onto that single 2 megabyte cartridge.
He truly was a miracle, man, in every sense of the word, from programming, from being an advisor, and his claim to be an executive of Nintendo, which came at around about 2004.
Yes, and under his stewardship, Nintendo took a massive different direction from Microsoft and from Sony, who were very much about trying to produce high-powered gamers consoles, whilst Iwata, he went the other way. His consoles might not have been the most powerful, but they were the most accessible, and as a result, we saw massive successes with the Nintendo DS and the Nintendo Wii.
I guess that's a huge indictment of his character as well. He was always such a quirky, crazy guy. He'd always have fun with his job, most notably through his Nintendo Directs. But more notably, back in the day, during, I think it was E3's press conference about 10 years ago, where he announced the Nintendo Revolution, which went on to become the Nintendo Wii. Basically, at the end of the conference, he was sitting there with his jacket, looking a bit bulky, and he said, "You know what, guys? I have one more announcement." Brings out the Nintendo Revolution out of his jacket pocket, and it just goes to show how much of a quirky, awesome character he was.
He seemed to be the living embodiment of the fun and innocent yet still innovative personality that we come to expect from Nintendo. Like, here he was with its Nintendo conferences directly announcing games. There was also just the fact that he was willing to be the joke as well, whether it be him holding the bananas or him one-on-one meleeing with Reggie Fils-Aimé.
So yeah, Iwata and his bananas. But anyway, we should wrap this up.
Yes, so Satoru Iwata will be greatly missed by the gaming industry. Now, Nintendo's slogan may mean leave luck to heaven, but if Iwata's up there, heaven doesn't need any luck at all.
Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us today. This is Satoru Iwata from Nintendo.
あれさっきまで出てこへんかったのに。
あれね、On my business card, I am a corporate president. In my mind, I am a game developer. But in my heart, I am a gamer. Thank you for watching.
So we've just watched Marvel's newest franchise.
Is it, new franchise?
I think most people don't know or care about Ant-Man until the movie came out.
Okay, we should clarify, because Ant-Man was one of the original Avengers.
Yeah, but
Did you know that?
Yeah,
okay.
but these days you start to...
Yeah, well, what have they done with it with the license in any reason? So, his power...
he's been in the comics and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
There's a long history of him being there. His character is not always the most likable person.
No, but his power is basically that he shrinks. Like, let's be honest. But he keeps the kinetic force of the same size person.
So super punches, blah blah blah
yeah,
blah. Communicates with ants.
Communicates with ants.
Yeah. So this is kind of the film tells the sort of a multi-generational almost story.
It starts with Hank Pym, who is the original Ant-Man, resigning from S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yep.
And then it moves on to I don't even remember what Paul Rudd's name is. Paul Rudd. As a thief, and he gets out of jail, and then he gets caught stealing the Ant-Man suit, and he becomes the Ant-Man.
Yeah, there's kind of a sort of a duality between the two. They've got a similar live. I guess there's a way to sort of link the characters together.
I find those callbacks work though. Like Michael Douglas was fantastic.
So Michael Douglas's Ant-Man was interesting. He was a lot more, so I think, relatable and likable. Paul Rudd
sucks. Like, that Judd Apatow shit has got to end. Like,
there's a lot of humor there that's kind of a little bit grown-worthy. You liked it a lot less than I did.
Yeah.
I laughed a couple of times.
Yeah, when it's all said and done, like, the best part of the movie for me was the stupid ant scenes. You would think the ant scenes would be the dumb stuff that people go, he's riding ants. But that was actually the best bit.
So I was originally very excited for this film because Edgar Wright was going to be writing and directing.
Yes, and that was what got me on board as well. Same reason I was on for Guardians of the Galaxy, because it was James Gunn.
However, he had creative differences.
Yes.
As no longer.
And then you saw Paul Rudd on the writing credits. You're like, oh, I get it. We wanted it to be less funny. And then.
But you could tell, you could pick the bits which he definitely had a hand in, and were clearly sort of.
No American director is putting The Cure in a Marvel movie. I'll just put that out there, right? So there were bits and pieces that worked. I thought a lot of it came together really, really well. The kind of the main bad guy kind of sucks. Multicultural Action Task Force was a bit lame.
That was not great.
Paul Rudd, this is dreadful. And then Anthony.
Poor Anthony, Liam.
Anthony.
There are a lot of bits of it, like, could have worked in the hands of a better director, someone who didn't direct The Breakup.
Yeah, The Yes Man.
Yeah, well, that was actually not so bad,
sure,
but yeah, but also Bring It On, kind of a little bit of a bit of a gap.
Look, and so I think the movie gets carried well enough by Michael Douglas. The ant scenes, when they're having a bit of fun with it, are pretty fun. A little bit of slapstick. I like the most
it's a Marvel film. You're probably already going to see it. It's fine. It's just not that great.
It's better than Avengers 2.
Yeah.
Ken looks really pretty in this one.
He looks real strange.
Yes, he does. Really, oh,
That's
I can't continue that for
disturbing.
anyone.
But even looking at who Ken is fighting, it's like, is that Rufus? I'm not entirely sure.
No, but what are your thoughts on Street Fighter V and this lead up, and this slow drip lead up as we realize the characters that we played in Street Fighter 4 are coming back for this one?
Yes. Well, I never really got into Street Fighter early. I played a bit of 2 at the arcade.
Yeah.
But Street Fighter 4 was when I actually started playing it properly. And
you and everyone else, it seems.
Yeah. Like everyone seemed to get it on that generation of consoles, the PS3, 360, and it's going to be interesting seeing this one being PS4 and PC exclusive.
Yeah.
So,
that's probably the most interesting thing about this, the fact that even though Street Fighter 4 is the most relevant fighting game at the moment in a time when fighting games are at their most relevant, that they've still had to seek out a console exclusive deal to just get this game off the ground.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was getting it off the ground necessarily, because the amount of releases they've made of Street Fighter 4, surely they've been making money.
I think
off
there've
it.
been 4 or 5 retail editions,
Yep.
plus costumes and DLC.
Yeah, I'm sure they'd make enough money for Street Fighter 5, but it is looking nice, looking pretty. I'll end up getting it on PC. I don't know about you, but
I will probably get it on the PS4 and then continue to prove my history of not being good at Street Fighter, but it doesn't matter because Ken's hair looks oh so pretty.
Well, Shaney, dashing onto the scene in all of its indie glory is the Brisbane-developed Assault Android Cactus.
It is. It's what? How would you say? Bullet hell twin stick shooter game on the PC for Steam. Early release at the moment, but it's so much fun.
Yes, it is absolutely fun, and it's also releasing on a lot of other consoles too. But let's review the PC early access copy first. So, Assault Android Cactus follows the tale of a whole bunch of different androids with different loadouts, powers, and attitude, I guess, and personalities against a whole bunch of robotic enemies, spiders, underlings, and all that sort of stuff, with a bit of bosses here and there as well.
The bosses are very much, I guess, my main fun of the game because it reminds me very much of like a bullet hell. There's patterns that you have to remember, ways that you can, I guess, cheat the boss way out. Shotgun class is broken though. As an early release game, I understand that maybe some parts need balancing a little bit here and there.
It's nothing patches won't fix.
Nothing patches won't fix, but why can't Railgun be more damaged?
I gotta say, Railgun was probably one of my favorite classes in the game. Railgun's basically, okay, so weapons work in many different ways. So certain characters have different weapons, like they have their automatic guns, they have their bolt action, like the Railgun, and shotguns as well, where you kind of shoot steady and have spread shots. Now, with that in mind, you also get power-ups throughout the game, which allow you to move a lot more faster around the environment, allow you to shut down enemies in like an electromagnetic pulse kind of deal, so you can actually kill enemies while they remain stationary and plot ahead. And there's also max power-up as well. The game allows you to mix and match as well, so as you leave it there, it's like kind of like Raiden, how you leave the power-up there and it changes colors. And I find that really good because it tunes to your play style and you can play however defensively or aggressively as you want.
The other thing is though that you got to talk about is like the classes have two weapons. Each one's more a standard just shoot weapon. The other one's a heavy damage weapon.
Like a secondary.
A secondary which has a cooldown. So every time it cools down, you have to switch to your main weapon. And the controls work really, really well for it because like on a controller, I was playing on PS4 controller because they are the best controllers. Don't tell Jason, but it feels really, really nice because it automatically switches over when you're firing. When it overheats, it switches. When you just want to like have controls on the right side, everything's really, really built well for a controller. That for a PC game, when you have just a keyboard, it's probably not that much fun. But if you have a controller, this game is so much fun.
I guess you got to be in that mindset of always have a controller on at all times. Like, I love how it just marries all these different concepts. It is a dual stick shooter at heart, but it has things like bullet hell, so you and the Toho, you really love it. It has elements of stuff like Gunstar Heroes, where you got to mix and match between different weapon types, and just everything just feels so solid and incredibly well done.
I have to mention though, music. It's one of the best things about this game.
Yes, so the art design as well is very awesome stuff. Get into it, guys. If you're a fan of twin stick shooters and stuff like Raiden, Toho, you're gonna love it.
Now, I love twin stick shooters and I like bullet hell games, so this really looks good to me because the last twin stick shooter I played was probably Stardust HD on the Vita, and they're a lot of fun. And this is an Australian developed game, so I might have to get onto it.
Like these twin stick shooters, we visited them every now and then with Stardust, with Geometry Wars, but it's almost as if it's almost a throwback, isn't it?
Yeah.
Except with android robots.
Yeah, it's sort of the equivalent of the tower defense. It's always good to come back to one, and there's certainly a lot of ways you can do it, and this has probably added a bit more to the formula than what is usually happening in these games, which is good.
And it's part of the early access program, and that early access program has sort of given us a sort of renaissance in all sorts of genres, whether it be your intense driving simulators or space adventure games. It's like, if you have a particular taste in a game, Steam Early Access or any of those early access programs, well, they can cater to your desires.
Yeah, it's certainly a good option if you're not looking at crowdfunding or if you don't want to go to the Indiegogos or the Kickstarters. And Steam Early Access is a great way to get the game out to the people who want to play it. But it also has its fallbacks.
Yeah, there have been a couple of stinkers.
Betas and people are paying for an unfinished game, essentially.
Yeah.
But when it works, it works. And it's good that people making Android Cactus can make this game and people can play it, and it's great.
Yeah, so we've got that to mull on. Now, in terms of events, well, we don't really have much in terms of pop culture events, but we've got a lot of esports coming up, don't we, Tim?
Yes, we certainly do. We've got the International Dota 2 finals coming up, and coming up on the 8th of August, Crown is going to be full of Australians because Silicon Sports are running a event at Village Cinemas where you can watch the grand final on the last day. So check that out online. They have lots more details up there, and certainly there'll be a lot of Dota fans around the city that night.
Easy, Tiger. Let's just get to the close of the show, shall we?
So visit our website, www.newgameplus.tv.
Like us on Facebook, we are New Game Plus TV.
Follow our Twitter and Instagram at New Game Plus TV.
And we are on YouTube and Twitch, also New Game Plus TV.
Thank you, Donald.
Thank you, Tim.
We'll see you guys next week.